right. So today we're going to be talking about, I guess everybody's heard something about this at some point, but the Frank Ocean Coachella set that just happened on Sunday.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about Coachella in general. I want to know more about it.
Well, I actually have very good things to say about Coachella. One,
Sick.
I'm pretty sure it was started in like 99, and Rage Against the Machine were like the first headliners. There's a documentary about it that came out, I believe 2019. But they had booked Rage Against the Machine, and Rage Against the Machine, they were cool with the promoters, and they played for like a lot less money, so the festival could happen.
Right, because to start a festival, the costs are like ridiculous. Because you don't know how many people are going to buy tickets, you know?
Oh, yeah, a lot of it's a big investment as far as like, oh, this needs to go well for 7 years before we really start seeing like big money get in. But I don't know, do you want to get into the Frank Ocean? Because I feel like that's what people, that's what they want to hear.
Sure.
This is our show, but I'm trying to grab some listeners here.
Sure. Yeah, I'm down.
So just like, the badness, I guess, or what happened during that Frank Ocean set.
Yeah. Why don't you just take it from the beginning before I give my opinions? Because you were the one that was there.
Yes. Well, just to start off, both of us are very big Frank Ocean fans. We were we had the prime age of Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
I remember, we loved Odd Future when we were I was a freshman, you were in 8th grade. And then that's right when they were coming out with Goblin, Nostalgia Ultra. So much to I didn't think about it until this weekend. And I was trying to think, when was this song? And then when was his last Coachella set? Which I remember happening in real time, but that was before Channel Orange or anything, which is so weird to think about. Because I wouldn't have thought I was that kind of early, he was on my radar.
Well, actually, shouts out to my friend from middle school, but he heard about Goblin right when it came out, from a skateboard magazine or from a skateboard company website, blog. And so I started listening to them, I think in 2000. I don't know when that came out. I think it was 2012, but it was right when Goblin came out. So, and I was immediately hooked on the whole Odd Future collective, and then from there I've been following their releases, but less and less these days. But I had Odd Future stickers on my middle school skateboard and all that kind of stuff, and we saw them when Earl got back from what was it, Samoa, yeah, when his parents sent him away when he was 16. So that's, I guess, the backstory on Frank Ocean.
Yeah,
Odd
we're
Future.
But
anyways,
Los Angeles kids, so we would go. One of my first times ever on Fairfax, I saw Frank Ocean in a BMW. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. I don't think I was there for that one, but I've seen Tyler multiple times.
Yeah, so this sort of thing has a certain place with us specifically, for people in our age group, especially because in high school, it was people kind of, I guess, knew about it, but it wasn't a cool thing necessarily to It seemed a lot more cool after we were in high school, when I kind of stopped listening to Tyler and the Flower Boy or even Cherry Bomb kind of era.
Yeah, I would
stuff.
say Flower Boy took it to the mainstream. Channel Orange and Flower Boy.
Yeah, it became hip.
Where it became mainstream, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just
fine.
It's just what happened. But
yeah. But anyway,
I mean, since then they've all come out with pretty great releases. Well, I should say Frank, Earl, and Tyler.
Yeah,
and
most of people's favorite ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internet got bigger, but I don't think their music was.
They're pretty big.
It never got great. It was always. I liked whatever the first album was, Purple Naked Ladies, I think it was called. But that was I was in high school, very early on in high school. But anyway, Frank Ocean. And plus,
Yeah.
we've seen Frank Ocean before. That's like another problem.
Yeah.
Is well, me more so, but you've paid to see Frank Ocean twice, and you've seen him how many times?
Once. Cause
So that's like
Yeah.
him. So that's like beginning as far as like this type of behavior, and is what led up kind of to this Coachella set.
yeah.
Which was,
explain
honestly,
like what happened, like at the
Oh,
FYF that he was supposed to play.
2015. Yeah, I was gonna get into that more. I was just doing like a quick kind of,
Okay, keep
because
going.
I was going to talk about Coachella. But yeah, we'll talk about like all, everything else later. But yeah, so yeah, this show's like 3 years in the making. I go Sunday. He's performing Sunday, and his set is probably the most anticipated of the weekend, just because he rarely does live shows and is kind of a mysterious artist. So this is one I'm pretty sure Coachella and Golden Voice was excited about, especially because of that initial lineup got postponed due to COVID with him, Travis Scott, and Rage Against the Machine. 2022, they try to bring back as many acts that was planned for 2020, but touring conflicts and that sort of stuff like got in the way. But I remember before the 2022 festival happened, Golden Voice, it was a strange thing, but they said, or the dude that runs Golden Voice had announced that Frank Ocean would be performing at the 2023 Coachella, which is, kind of strange to before the 2022 one even like happens.
Yeah.
But it was a kind of a special circumstance because of the pandemic and stuff. So, Frank Ocean, the way I looked at it was, it's probably like around an album release. You get a lot of press for performing or headlining, especially Coachella. So that sort of thing made sense to me. He was planning something kind of, and was going to do this festival. So here we are. Well, also, we were both planning on going to the 2020 Coachella. I'd already bought tickets, and those tickets rolled over to 2022, which he did not get booked for, which was annoying, but then also something you couldn't really, control. Just because of the pandemic, it kind of gave everybody, like, this weird pass on, like, stuff that didn't make sense. But anyway.
Yeah.
2023, he gets booked, like, the guy, like, the dude that runs Coachella had said 2 years before. I think 2021 he had announced that Frank Ocean was doing 2023.
I mean, it makes sense to me because, like, I think he's been on hiatus for so long, and like everybody anticipated like his comeback before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, and then once Golden Voice probably got in contact with him and booked him, like, I'm sure they were, like, so excited. Like, just, like, as fans of his music, they were probably, like, just wanted to, like, let everyone know, like, oh, my God, like, Frank Ocean, it doesn't matter that it was, like, the next year. It's just, like, they're probably just excited.
Well, fans of the music, and it's an exclusive thing, and,
yeah.
A lot of people had expected, because the people that had bought tickets to see Frank Ocean, their tickets were rolled over to 2022. So I think he was just kind of putting it out there like, oh, Frank Ocean is not going to be on the 2022 lineup. He's going to be on the 2023 lineup. But yeah, the exclusive booking, then I'm sure they're, they like good music and stuff. You could tell by like the acts. At least, we'll get into that, I guess, another time. But yeah, they usually book some pretty cool stuff. It was Frank Ocean, Rage Against the Machine, Danny Elfman, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. There's a lot of good shit happening.
Yeah, that sounds pretty lit.
Yeah, but anyway, 2023, here we are. Bad Bunny, Blackpink, and then Frank Ocean Sunday. Frank Ocean has the anticipated set. A lot of fans are expecting new music. I don't know if I was, but I knew I would find out at the festival.
I mean, just following the subreddit, I feel like shouts out to the Frank Ocean subreddit for giving quality content, but like it's kind of like a good gauge at like where his fans are at. and like I don't know, everybody seemed like super excited. You know.
Oh yeah, you know. So this is one of my. This was like my artist in high school, as far as like my favorite. So I was excited,
Right.
and plus, it wasn't so much like, because when last time we saw him, it was maybe a year after Blonde came out. So you were kind of expecting a pretty Blonde heavy set list, but since it's been so long, I knew and no music had been released. You know,
Yeah.
people were speculating if it would come out a few days before or the day of the performance. But, you know, going into that day, no music had dropped. So I was pretty confident he would be doing an all around set. So he'd be performing
Yeah.
songs I had never seen before, which was pretty exciting. And,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
the festival, and I'll get into like the badness, I guess, of the festival.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to hear like some great songs and songs I had never heard before, which was like in great versions of songs.
Okay. Sick.
But yeah, what were you going to say?
Oh yeah, I have to say one thing, and it was something that I was gonna say and then didn't realize. But anyways, the subreddit seemed really excited, and they thought like I mean, they've been saying this for like a full on like 2 or more years. Like, oh, he's gonna drop this week. Like, oh, it's gonna drop this week. Like the album, but like I think everybody kind of like, and of course it's all speculation because there's literally zero press. Like, but like you know, everybody thought like, oh my god, he's gonna play, like, and then like the couple days before or maybe the day of, like he's gonna release an album. Like it's gonna be like his big comeback. I think people were seeing this, like at least his fans, you know, as his big like comeback moment. Not that he ever like lost relevancy, but just like that he's been gone for so long, and like
New era.
and like he was releasing singles, you know, before like years ago, and so like I think most people, and even me myself, I was like partly convinced like, okay, this dude's probably gonna drop an album like on Sunday morning or something, you know, and then like perform the album. So
Yeah, most
you know,
definitely.
that's such high expectations, but that's kind of like what was built around it, given that there was no communication and like that his fan base is so like passionate, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it made sense to me because he was releasing singles pretty much up into the point he had sold those vinyls
Right.
leading up to his Coachella 2020 performance. So
The Blonde re-release.
I mean, that's what I meant the vinyls, like what was it, Kando and Dear April?
Oh yeah. The singles, yeah.
Yeah, the singles leading up to his Coachella performance.
Mhm,
And those were
mhm.
being released in like January or February of 2020.
Yeah.
And he was set to perform in April. So that makes like the most sense to an album coming out. So this was like his postponement Coachella performance that was supposed to happen. So yeah, you know, it made sense for everybody to think, you know, he was going to pick up where he left off as far as like releasing music for his Coachella performance. And then what if fucking okay, I'll get into like I guess the performance itself.
Yeah, go for it.
First of all, we there's I'm sure you could see for those of you that are listening have seen videos of his previous tour, and he has the stage out in like the middle of the crowd, and there have been leaks and kind of pictures of this stage built, you know, throughout the weekend of Coachella, because it's not a stage Bad Bunny was using or a stage Blackpink was using. So it was kind of obvious, like, oh, this is for Frank Ocean specifically. And I think like some security guards kind of thing had been a little loose-lipped and said it was for Frank Ocean. So a lot of his fans, you know, like how we did, because we on the rail, or at least I did, you left the rail for FYF 2017. So a lot of people camped out there, like initially at the beginning of the day, because that's where Frank Ocean was supposed to do at least a part of his performance. And that's kind of, there weren't a ton of people by there. So during Bjork's set before, I was able to get pretty close to there. I was honestly maybe, when Frank Ocean went on, mm, 2 to 3 people in front of me from the barricade right there.
Yeah.
And we all thought Frank Ocean was gonna come out there, which he didn't.
Okay, so you were on like that like extended part of the stage. You were on that rail like right next to that,
Yes,
and then
pretty close.
he didn't like walk out like on that platform.
Not at all.
Okay, so they just set up the platform and then he just like did like it was just empty.
Yes, yes. And this is
Fascinating.
information that I didn't hear until a couple hours ago, because I guess a couple of the people that were part of the theatrics of the performance have a podcast as well. So, and I speculation, but people that are part of these things sign NDAs, and the performance was Sunday. So I think their NDAs are over. So they kind of spilt some of the beans about what was supposed to be happening. But yeah, that was part of the stage. And the day of, decided so there was a huge production that he had put together that they had been rehearsing at Paramount Studios for like the past 6 weeks at least, with like 120 skaters. And the day of, he canceled it.
Right. So there was supposed to be an ice rink on stage.
Yes, which was, you could see it online. Somebody had talked or something. So people were kind of expecting that and saw the, built stage.
Yeah.
So they lined up out there. So I'm basically waiting there, and, just other Frank Ocean fans were just kind of bullshitting, talking about like songs he's going to play and whatnot.
Right.
And 10:05 rolls around, and we're like, oh, whatever. It could be just a few minutes and stuff. And then it turns into like 10 minutes. And then we started making, what if he's not fucking coming on stage? What if Drake comes out?
Started playing patty cake shit, just waiting.
Oh, yeah. We were just like talking about, I kept going like 6, 6, 6, 6. Started,
Yeah.
And then, but the thing is, so many minutes had rolled by.
The
to
alcohol
where,
is
like,
wearing off quickly.
Oh, dude, I needed it to wear off. I'll talk. Yeah.
Oh shit.
That was getting but yeah, we started talking. I'm like, what if Limp Bizkit comes out? The conversation starts fucking getting there.
Just
that's how long.
Too bored.
Yes.
Boredom.
Yeah.
Speculation.
No, fuck. Exactly. So yeah, this one guy's girlfriend dragged him there, and it was pretty funny. He just kept saying like, Drake would never do this to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
But yeah. So we're like fucking waiting, and then that thing with the lights happens, that like the show starting, and then
Lights
also
dim.
so Coachella has like this massive fucking stage with these massive fucking screens. And after Bjork's set, they start. So basically, how there's like screens on both either side of the stage.
Yeah.
There's like, so they start building this like kind of block by block, kind of like the Pink Floyd's The Wall, but it's like a screen to like combine it into one massive widescreen.
Okay. Yeah, I saw video and pictures of Frank Ocean like massive wide screen. So before it was like 3 screens and then they like connected it.
Yeah, before it was a regular stage. Yeah, it was like a similar sort of a thing that they did with FYF, although it was more of just like an actual. I think the back screen they moved forward, but it wasn't like a sealed blend. It looked almost just like 3 screens next to each other. This one was like sealed. It looked nice.
Yeah,
but since they were building that and they built the whole thing, we were like, oh, he's definitely performing out on this second stage.
Yeah,
because they're covering the whole thing. But once they covered most of it, they left a little gap at the bottom. And then also the gap at the bottom, they built a bunch of like, it was like a rack. So from the floor of the stage to the top of where you could see the stage and where it connects to the screen were these like black bars. Basically, when the band was set, it was covering, everyone, Frank Ocean and stuff. Like they were behind all of that.
Okay.
Like all these like massive lights.
So like the screen was black like behind them, and it kind of like made them into like a silhouette. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
The screen was in front of them picture of it, the very front of the stage.
Yeah.
There's a screen, and then at the very bottom is just no screen. So if you were able to see through, you could see like the actual stage where the band was set up and where Frank Ocean was set up.
Okay.
And then through that little like emptiness, almost like cell bars to like a jail cell, but they were like lights.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So
okay.
just that little openness that would show you like the band in the stage was being covered by like these weird flashing lights.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, so it's like a kind of weird design. I don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah. You're just like,
so
what
the show
kind of
starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing was pretty confusing.
Yeah.
But the show starts, and then there's like a bunch of guys like walking back and forth. So I'm like, okay, the show's obviously starting, and they're walking for what seems like a while after waiting an hour.
And they're like dancers, or they're like security, or they're like.
Why didn't I find
like
out till after?
hands?
I'll talk about it. It's like, you mean like, are they part of the show? Yeah, it was pretty obvious they were part of the show because they were wearing matching like hoodies or something.
Oh, okay. They were like,
and they were walking
choreography,
almost
people.
like loops around the stage.
Yeah,
in like a circle.
yeah. Uh huh.
And then all of a sudden, Novocaine starts.
Okay.
So everybody's, going fucking
At that
crazy.
point, is everybody like, "Oh my god, finally!"
Oh yeah. Because the show's starting.
Yeah.
That's what we're waiting for.
It's been like waiting for like so
course.
long. You're like, "Fuck."
Well, they're setting up like this crazy like stage also.
Mm-hmm.
putting we had never really seen something like that.
So
were
you guys in the crowd like patient with it? Like, oh, they just have like a big ass setup. Like, it's just like taking a while. Or did you like think like, oh, this dude's like late as fuck?
It was like a mixture of like just wanting like we're here already, but then it started getting a little annoying like after like 40 minutes sort of.
Okay, yeah.
Like really 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Once Limp Bizkit came up,
Yeah, right.
So I shouldn't have thought about this band
like,
at all today.
Yeah, like the conversation. Yeah, okay, I see. Okay, so anyways, he starts
cool people though,
Novocaine.
cool crowd. In general, one of my favorite festival experience as far as like the way it's set up and stuff.
That's
but anyways, I would definitely go back for a good set list. But anyway,
yeah, maybe
a good
maybe
lineup.
next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But so Novocaine starts, and then he does the first verse, and then the song stops and kind of starts again, and they start playing the song in like a different fashion, which is pretty cool, and like kind of like an indie pop, like The Cure type way. There's like a drummer, bass player, guitars.
Yeah.
And he starts the song kind of over again, singing it.
So
the first verse.
So he sings the first verse, and then it stops, and then he sings the first verse again, but like in a different like style.
Exactly.
Does he keep going like through?
Yeah,
the
he
song?
does the rest of the song like that. I think they might have like cut it halfway, but then also it was just like it was very exciting because it was good. I was liking it, but it was also like you see the band and like it's like, oh, okay, like he was like they've been working on something kind of a thing. So you're like expecting like a pretty great show.
Okay.
So that happens, and I'm pretty sure after their first song, this sort of a thing happened where it's like between songs, there were like these awkward like pauses. And when he starts songs, he'll like restart it, sort of a thing. He kind of did that at FYF. Like if he didn't think a performance was good enough, he like would perform the song again.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Like he would cut it like at the beginning and then like restart it like to hit a note right or whatever.
Yeah, some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he does Novocaine, and then he plays this second song. I didn't remember hearing it before, but I guess it's something that was played on like Homer radio, like in the background or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd sent it to you guys because I recorded it.
Was that the rock one?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was the other one with like rapping over like piano.
Yeah. Okay, I remember you sent that, and I listened to a little bit of it. Okay, for sure. So he starts playing that song.
So, yeah, Novocaine, then this, and I'm in good spirits. I like, the music that's happening. Cool like ambient piano with like him doing like his rapping, singing over it, and it's like new stuff. So I'm like, okay, he's playing new songs.
Yeah, like that gets you like hyped. Like you hear a reworked Novocaine and then like a new song, you're like, fuck, like, all right, this is gonna be lit.
Yeah, like we're at like Frank Ocean's Coachella set, like headlining. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
And then track 3, better yet, he plays my favorite Frank Ocean song, Crack Rock.
Right.
So you're the pianos, and I think he did a restart to that. I think like on the 3rd chord in or something, he had it restarted. Mm-hmm. That one was like pretty much in its original version from like the Channel Orange. He sang it, obviously like a little differently, but it was like really good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the same. But they
seemed
the end.
It seemed like they did the same instrumental, but he kind of reworked some of the vocal lines. Right?
Yeah, and like the notes, like pretty specifically, which was cool. Right. I kind of enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. Also I'm a big Frank Ocean fan. Mm-hmm. And I'm, I love music and all sorts of music. So to those sorts of things, I'm like pretty, I like.
Yeah.
And then he cut out the last part, which is, fine or whatever. But I guess he was doing this like kind of on the spot. What people closer to this age were saying, that he would like look to the band and do like a cut signal. Yeah. And it looked like kind of confusing.
That. Yeah, like it was almost like he was kind of controlling them like last minute on stage kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the communication. Yeah, exactly. Like it was some things like weren't pre-planned. Yeah.
Yeah, like visual and verbal like communication. Yes.
Right.
But anyway, I was pretty pumped on that. And then he did like an interlude from Endless, and then did Bad Religion, which was like really good.
Nice.
So I'm pretty like, but there were still like those weird like little awkward like pauses and stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like you go into it wanting to have like a great experience, and like it is going great, but there's like little things, like little yellow flags like popping up where you're like, that was strange. Oh well, like because you're at a fucking Coachella and you're just like trying to have a good time.
Yeah, it was almost like what I had, and plus it was the hour waiting.
Yeah.
So there's like this, it's one thing an hour waiting and then like the big party starts, but then it's almost like anticlimactic and stuff.
Yeah.
And it would almost be like if I was like watching like a dress rehearsal of the show, sort of a thing. So, but anyway, then after that, then he does White Ferrari. And it's like a brand new version of White Ferrari, completely different. I actually think you would have really enjoyed this part of the set because they were using like these like Moog. I don't know if they were Moog, but they're these synths that were like arpeggiating.
Yeah.
And the sound.
I heard it a bit. Yeah.
In live, it was like amazing. Like Coachella, I guess, is known, at least, this is a long time ago, but from 2012. When Rage did their show at the Coliseum, they like used the Coachella live equipment, the PA specifically, because it was like the best in the biz. There's a few people who are known for like having the best in the biz, like I guess sort of live, kind of like setup, like Metallica, AC/DC, and I guess Coachella has a really good one. And honestly, being there, like this one, like they had towers kind of set up everywhere. Even like if you weren't that far back, like you were covered, like you were hearing good sound.
Right, like they spared no expense, like on the sound setup.
Yeah, and then that mixed with like, those types of like synths and stuff.
Yeah,
would mix with like live drums or whatever. It was cool. It was very cool. So he does that. It wasn't even like I didn't even like love the version, but I just kind of I like the song and I liked like the live energy of that sort of a thing
Right.
and trying new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. Does Florida from Endless. He does and you know, there's still these like fucking weird ass pauses and stuff, and he'll like even like get up and like walk off the stage and then like come back or something.
Yeah, I heard
and
that
it's just quiet.
I heard that he was taking like 5 minutes in between songs.
Boy, did it seem like it.
Like how long were the pauses like in between songs?
Long enough to lose momentum.
Yeah.
And to kill like the high of it.
Right. Okay.
I wasn't like gauging time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're excited. You know, this is your favorite artist. You know,
exactly. Like, you're not going
show.
into it, like, thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially, like, the 3 years leading up to this, like, and especially because he took that extra year rather than doing 2022. So you think this is, like, the deal for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know? This is the thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, yeah. He does Pink and White, like, an acoustic version. That was cool. There's a new version of Solo. You know, it was all good. And this is basically where everything went fucking weird.
Yeah.
Or like really, really weird.
Yeah.
So, the Andre 3000 verse comes on. And everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah, everyone thinks,
you know,
Andre's about to come up there with the flute.
Nah, we didn't think that.
Yeah.
Because it was already happening.
Yeah.
And no, here's the thing. It was, I think it was like sped up. It sounded like a mix or something.
Uh-huh.
So it was, you know, he wasn't coming up. And then the camera goes to this DJ that's on like side stage, kind of 5 to 7 yards in front of like where the sound guy would be on the side of like the on stage sound guy.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who this is, but she starts, you know, DJing on this weird looking like setup. I guess Virgil built it or something. But anyway,
I heard her
none
name,
of us know that.
I heard her name is DJ Crystal Mess.
But everyone thought he said crystal meth. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we thought. He said.
Yeah. But I think that's
It was
actually.
just
I think her
that's
name is like actually Crystal Mess. I haven't looked at.
Oh,
looked
yeah,
it up,
I know.
But I think that's what it is.
Oh yeah, I think it's crystal mess. But it makes me think how much better of a DJ name would be crystal meth.
Yeah, that's basically the DJ for Death Grips.
Oh yeah.
That might as well be his name.
Well, yeah. So she starts, you know, spinning whatever, and
Well, what is she?
Was it
spinning?
Chanel?
Like, first of all.
oh no, it's not like actual. It's not. She doesn't have vinyl.
Yeah, but like, what is she?
but
What kind of
I-
music is it?
Well, no, Frank Ocean music.
Oh,
so
she's playing
Chanel-
like Frank Ocean songs.
Yeah, this was the first weird thing. Chanel starts playing.
Okay.
And I think that's like the first one that he starts kind of does not have a microphone in his hand and is just sort of singing along, you know?
Interesting. So he's
people
like
keep
standing
saying-
on stage and like kind of like lip syncing it.
Like a
But
DJ.
like, it's not like he's lip syncing it because he's not like pretending to sing it, but like he doesn't have
Yeah.
a mic and he's like kind of mouthing the words and like singing it with the crowd basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Which is like kind of strange
Yeah.
because people are excited to hear like the music to Chanel.
Right.
Yes. So that happens. There's like, I'm kind of weirded out at this point because I don't know how long this is going to go on. And she does a bunch of songs. Like, even Ice Spice comes in at one point. I don't know. Slide, No Church in the Wild, like Provider.
Yeah.
Like this weird mix. And it lasts 10 minutes.
And so she's like going through the songs like minute, like she's not doing the whole song.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. It's a mix. It's a complete. All these are like remixes of songs, so they're like sped up. The pitch is different. That sort of a thing. Like
Yeah.
like a DJ.
Yeah.
So anything, yeah, that kills like everybody's just kind of because we're just kind of waiting again, like how we
Yeah.
were before.
Right. Like waiting for
yeah,
like a performance.
Yeah. It goes right back. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like during his set, but we're still waiting for him to come out and perform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, He does Godspeed, like, great version. He does Wise Man, which at the time I thought this was a brand new song, but it's just because he did it in such a fucking different version. That was the punk rock song. Wise Man. Do you know Wise Man? That's the song he wrote for Django, and then Tarantino, like, he liked the song, but just said it wasn't right or he didn't have a place for it in the movie.
Oh,
it's a really good song though.
I don't know if I know. Actually, I'm surprised. I've never heard of that one. I don't think I know that, but
it's like it's not on streaming. I think he put it on like his Tumblr or something.
Yeah. Okay, and
like,
then he reworked it into like a rock song.
Yeah, I didn't know what. I just started videotaping because it was like new, and I was like, this is like so different.
Yeah.
So like if it shows up on record, sort of a thing, like it'd be cool to get a piece of the first version, and then after, Wise Man was like on the set list website. I was like, I don't remember him playing that at all, and that's like a Frank Ocean song I really like.
Yeah.
And then looked into it more, and it was that fucking song. So I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like unrecognizable. But okay.
Yeah. So he does those two. And then for this next song, I don't know the song, so I think it's like a new song. And he has like this kid come up to like the stage, and it's supposed to be like a young Frank Ocean sort of a thing.
Okay.
Like a performance thing. And the kid's like lip syncing. I just assume Frank Ocean's like singing off stage, so he's not even on stage.
Yeah.
He's like singing off stage, so it's just kind of weird, but like okay, whatever. Then he does Self Control, which this might have been my favorite song of the evening.
Yeah. He hit some cool.
I don't even
vocal
like
lines.
the song that. Yeah, he did. He changed it up a lot, and I liked it. And this was never my favorite or one of my favorites off Blonde. It was one of the ones I didn't really care that much for.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, that's the thing. Like the songs he did perform, like this, that first new one, Novocaine, Crack Rock, Bad Religion, like those were all great.
Mm-hmm.
Like really great. Like almost like, oh wow, great.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was just so weird. The whole set and the flow of everything. So yeah, Self Control, and this is like where I get almost like I feel like I'm in a dream, or I can't believe what's happening.
Yeah, reality starts to set in, but you're like, this can't be.
Yeah, exactly. So Nike starts, and the vocals, you know how it's like a high pitch in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of walking around the stage. He doesn't look like comfortable or like sure of what's like about to happen. I think he even has it almost looks like he's like debating to sing with the microphone or not. Then he just sets it down because I just kind of assumes like, oh, he sang the whole thing last time, but the high part he'll kind of just let the crowd sing it and then come in on when it changes, the change for Nikes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the song switches to Nights in the middle. Probably just right during that switch, and then during Nights he doesn't. Same thing. He's just mouthing it along, and he like walks up to the camera and is like mouthing it straight to the camera. So on the screen you see him. He's like directly,
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like so strange. And those are like two of his, arguably like biggest songs, especially like from that era.
Yeah.
So people are like. Pretty. They hear the beginning of the song and they get pretty hyped. Like, oh, he's performing. I love this song.
Yeah.
Then he's just doing this weird thing, and I'm just like, I don't know what to think. Like, I can't believe like this is what's happening. And then after, there's probably like another like weird pause after, and then he does, "At Your Best, You Are Love," and then that's like a really good performance and version.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty like standard to like his recorded version, but I never thought I'd see him play it live or he'd play it live at all.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard song to sing, so it's cool that he did it.
Yeah. So And that was when the show he walked off stage, and then all of a sudden you hear him saying something about, they say that's curfew, and everybody was fucking upset. Like, everybody was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And immediately you hear people like from far away, oh, well, like, at least I gotta see him in 2017. And
everyone at FYF was feeling elitist at that moment.
Yeah. That's where they had to go to, not that
not that like
concert they just paid for.
Yeah,
like,
totally
went well. They're like, remember that thing like way before the world changed?
Fucking 6
At least
years
I gotta
ago.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was the story of his set.
Yeah, so after how are you feeling? Like, were you feeling like confused? Like, was reality like already settled in where you were like, that was shit, or like what the fuck were you thinking?
Well, there was him saying that, and then okay. So on the like big screen where the cameras were, they were like kind of on his band, and they weren't expecting the set to end right then.
Oh, the band was still standing there. Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, it looked like they were about, because I'm assuming like the band leader, and Frank Ocean were kind of discussing something, and it looked like they were about to go into like the next song, and it was taking a long time, and that was like kind of upsetting me at the time. Like, what are they like going over? Like, what's happening?
Right.
And then Frank Ocean walked off stage. Then like a little time happened, and then he just, I guess he walked back up to the microphone and they said that, or like, that's time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. He didn't even say anything.
But what were you thinking as you were like standing there and then like walking away and like driving home? Like, what was your closing
there was
thoughts
so
of
much
the
time
night?
between all of that. There was a lot of time between all of that stuff. From the time he said, that's it, that's curfew or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 minutes between that and when the actual house lights went on. And when the house lights went on, everyone like did a giant gasp. They're like, oh, like they couldn't believe it.
Uh-huh.
And then I walked maybe 10 to 17 steps before I texted you guys, fuck Frank Ocean for life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like this thing that like was weighing on me like in an emotional way or something. I don't know why. Maybe because I like sort of I almost just couldn't believe it. Like, it was just like dumb. Like I'm gonna go home, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of that. I got to see him that one time. I feel bad for all of his fans who haven't been able to see him and came out to this day.
Not to mention the people that came from fucking other countries. Like, there's a lot of people that came internationally for this. Like, they flew on a plane
or other
for, like,
states
over 10 hours. Yeah, or like drove here. Like, yeah, spent
my
like
day
a
was
shit
so
ton of
easy.
money. Yeah,
It was such a great that's why I was like, I would come back to Coachella, because it was like a great experience.
yeah. It's like not that far. Like, it was nice. Setup was nice.
Oh, well, getting into parking was like super easy, and parking was free.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah, that was like amazing.
I thought parking. Yeah, I guess not. And do you have to take a shuttle in, or does that cost money?
No.
Oh, you just
I did not have to take a shuttle.
Okay.
It was very close.
Well,
in fact, from my parking spot, this is actually the most cunty experience I've been in a while.
yeah.
Dude, fucking this is like the type of bitch that like Coachella, like it's like a caricature,
Yeah.
I like it. But so I'm just walking. That being said, I probably just had 9 beers or something.
Oh shit.
But I'm just walking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine. Everything's good.
Yeah.
This guy on a bike, you know how they'll like take people from their cars to like wherever the front of the venue is?
Okay.
I wanted to get in to see like Why Is Blood or something. But so I don't flag him down. He stops and asks me if I want to a ride. And I was like, fuck, yeah, sure. And there was like, a little party on there already, but not all the seats were filled. So I get on, and it was like one party. And this lady, like this blonde Coachella looking lady, like you could just kind of imagine her, picture whatever
Yeah.
in her head.
Like she was waiting for
Like
this.
she was kind of,
And
she was
doesn't know
upset
any of
that,
the bands, but she's been waiting for this all year.
yeah. So she got upset that, first of all, the guy stopped, but then I got on. And then she was like, "Are you used to killing everybody's vibe?" And I was like,
She
"What?"
really said
Because I was
that?
just, swear to God. And then she said, like, "Do you show up to parties and like kill people's vibes? Like, is that what you do?"
Did you say anything?
And I was
to
just,
her? She just
well,
started
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that.
Well, this is where the 9 beers.
Oh, what did you say though?
Oh, okay, wait. There's a good ending.
Okay.
But I didn't have anything to really. I said something like fucking dumb. I said something like, well, she said like, "Oh, do you like show up to people's And I just said something like, "Oh, like I don't even like show up to the parties or something."
Yeah.
And and she was like, "You don't go to parties," or like people don't invite you to their parties, and I said, "No, I just don't go. Like I get invited, but I don't it was something like, I guess something cool I was trying to say,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. But so anyways, the ride ends. I pay the dude. I should have been more mad, but also like that's not at all what I was thinking about of my day, and I
Right.
was like very drunk.
Right,
And I guess good thing I'm
whatever.
not a fucking
Yeah.
angry drunk.
Uh-huh.
And the lady was like, and like her friends kind of like they didn't say anything, but like their vibe was just kind of like this, this is how this bitch is kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the guy goes away, and she starts like, my bag. Like I left my bag, and she's trying to flag down the guy, and she's like telling all her friends to stop. And then I was like, "Oh, do you usually kill everyone else's vibe with like, yeah?"
Oh my
So I gotta throw that shit right back at her.
Oh my
So I was like,
god, that's
check.
hilarious, dude.
All right. And then I went into the
Nice.
festival.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Oh, good shit, man. Who says that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, fucking rudest bitch on earth.
Yeah.
But like it was like so like weird that like I wasn't like it was just so strange.
Yeah.
Like nothing like offended me about it. It was just sort of weird.
Yeah.
It was like
Fucking
weird and
sloppy.
like rude. But yeah, went in. Alex G was cool.
Yeah,
The festival's really
Alex
nice.
G looked sick, dude. Honestly, his band's sounding nice these days. Cause like
Yeah.
he's sounding like full. Like at least like the last like ever since his last album and like the album before, I've seen some of his live performances and they just sound really good. Like he has a lot of talented performers up there that are playing with him.
Yeah, I really enjoyed myself
Yeah.
for that.
I'd love to see Alex
But
G. That's just one of those random ones I haven't caught yet. All his smaller shows sell out super fast. But I mean, you could always buy a resale, but like I don't know, he just has a really like strong fan base. I'm sure the crowd was about it.
Yeah, everyone there. That's what's cool about Coachella. There's a lot of like people there. Like
Yeah, it's just a big
that band?
big mix. Yeah.
that hardcore band Knocked Loose went
Yeah.
on at the same time as, Frank Ocean,
Oh, okay.
and their crowd was fucking full.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
So like there's like
Yeah.
a giant room filled of like fucking hardcore people moshing
Right.
while like a headliner's on. So there's just so many people there. Beer lines were short. People were nice. Somebody besides that one cunt, but yeah, people were like offering like me food and stuff. Like it was pretty nuts.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was there for like not even the full day.
Yeah.
I went in like the later half.
Right. And you didn't go on Friday, right?
No. I went and saw John Mayer, which was it's probably my 10th time seeing him, and it was like the best time I saw him.
Damn, yeah, it was just
Great
him.
concert.
It was just him, right?
Fucking fantastic. Yes.
Dude, I should
Yes,
have
it
took your
was.
ticket to Coachella. You should have told me. I would have paid you.
Oh, no, you wouldn't have been able to get it.
Oh, cause why? Cause it's on your wrist, or it's like registered to your name or something. Or
Well, I had to go pick it up at Will Call, which was at the
with your ID.
'cause
Fuck. Yeah, dude.
exactly
Cause like Chemical.
Blink.
Okay, first of all, Blink 182 played a surprise set, and I'm not the biggest Blink 182 fan, but I mean, for 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday to see Blink get back together for the first time since 2014, I would have went to that shit. And then Gorillaz, I guess, rocked it as usual because they're super fucking consistent, and their last album was cool, which we talked about on a previous podcast. But I heard Chemical Brothers really was like the best set of the weekend, and
I heard the same thing.
That was another surprise set. They announced it like a week before that they were playing Coachella.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know that they were doing it until after they played.
Yeah, they weren't on the bill, and neither was Blink. They were both surprise acts. I think Blink was shorter. Like they were like 1 or 2 days before that they announced it. But Chemical Brothers announced it like a week before, if I'm not mistaken. And then last time Chemical Brothers came around, they played the Greek, and I even like hit up some of my friends like, hey, you guys want to go? And they were like, oh, dude, like, what is this, the 90s again? Like, you want to see the Chemical Brothers? Like, I'm like, no, like, seriously, like, they came out with some really cool stuff, and I guess their visuals and live performance is like really awesome. So like, if I were to
I think they're using analog equipment.
Oh yeah, they totally are. They when they started, like, they were probably all on analog equipment, so they're probably super comfortable with it. But like their visuals and like the hypeness, like even if you just listen to them on like their records, like you can just tell that like their concerts are fucking sick. So if there was like one day I wish I could have went, and I guess Weekend 2 is coming up, but I'm not gonna pay for it this time around. But if there's one day I could pick where that would probably be the funnest day, it would be Friday.
Yeah, dude, that was a decision I had to make.
Yeah.
Because I had forgotten about the John Mayer concert completely when I bought the Coachella tickets. So when I bought them, I was like, oh, I'm going to go Friday and watch Blink and Gorillaz and I guess the Chemical Brothers. But then I had remembered about that John Mayer fucking show.
Yeah.
And dude, another fucking thing.
At the end of the day, it's all preference. So as long as you had a good time at the John Mayer show, then it doesn't matter. But
it was a great time.
Anyways,
I got in there easy and everything. But one like small thing, I made people leave the show, the John Mayer show.
They left because of you?
Well, they were fucking talking like during like the first half of the show. Like I probably let it go on. I didn't like tell anyone off or anything. I just literally tapped the guy on the shoulder and I said, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but you guys have been talking through every song.
Yeah, were they like drunk as fuck or something,
or? I don't know. It seemed almost just like they didn't care that much. Like it was like an LA like, people, which is kind of extra money.
Hey,
like what should we do this weekend?
Hey,
John Mayer's in town.
I just want to be clear. I'm all about people being like loud and having fun at concerts, getting up, dancing, cheering and stuff. But one thing that at comedy shows and at concerts really fucking annoys me is when people are having a personal conversation the whole time. It's really annoying. It's like so annoying because it's just like, why are you even there? Like, just don't even be there. Like, don't come.
Yeah, she was like pulling out her phone and talking about shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, blah, 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 this person kind of a thing. So, I let it like go on longer than I guess most people would have. But, like I didn't tell the guy off or anything, but I just kind of tapped on. I said, let's see, verbatim, I probably said, not trying to be a dick, but you guys have been talking through every song.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this all week.
Yeah. That's a pretty respectful way to say shut the fuck up.
And this is like 7 songs in, kind of.
Yeah. Like you gave him the 4 songs to like, get it out, say what you need to say. Yeah.
Which is a John Mayer song.
I was about to say like, damn, that's a John Mayer song. I didn't even realize. But yeah, okay. So anyways, what did they say after that and like what happened?
the guy was just kind of like, okay. Like, he didn't really say anything, but just he was taking in what I put out.
Yeah.
And then also I needed to pee really bad. And I think maybe for the rest of that song, they kind of quieted down. And then he started another song.
Mm-hmm.
And his girlfriend started, like, talking again. And she had, like, one of those, like, annoying-ass girl voices. Like, where it hits, you know, Bill Burr talks about it hits, like, that frequency where it's like,
Yeah.
and it just gets in your ear.
Uh-huh. It's like a high-pitched, like, bird sound, like D from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah. And it was a song that, it was pretty cool that he was playing, but it was never my favorite John Mayer song. So I just went to go, and it was a long song too, so that I knew of. So I went to go pee.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got back, they were gone. So I was like, they probably thought I was going to get somebody or some shit and didn't care that much about the show.
They just
So,
they
I
didn't
got-
come back?
No, I got to scoot over 2 seats and get, like, double armrest and, like, spread my legs out and stuff.
Uh-huh. You man-spread
It was
it.
pretty cool.
Man-spread it at the John Mayer show.
I man-spread it at the John Mayer show, which is fucking amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
They had all the speakers set up, like, really nice so you could hear everything, like, perfectly. And I was so happy I went because, you know, who knows? Like, did I make the right decision about Coachella and stuff? But I felt like, especially because I'm such a big John Mayer fan. I actually got into John Mayer from Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
So as far as
White.
what this weekend could have been.
Yeah, I think one philosophy that I've been on lately is that there's no such thing as right or wrong, especially when it comes to art. At the end of the day, it's all preference. And if you had fun, and if you think you would have had more fun at that than on Friday at Coachella, then more power to you, man.
Here. I was pouring wine.
Get at it.
Yeah. But I was pretty set as far as my decision.
Cool.
If Frank Ocean, you know, we didn't talk about this at all. Well, this is new news. But 2 of those, like, performers that were supposed to perform at Coachella, like I said, had a podcast.
The ice skating guys. They in the NHL? Are they like professional?
I didn't listen
like,
to enough
hockey
of their
players?
podcasts.
I'm pretty sure they're like
former
pros.
hockey players.
Oh, they're former. Okay.
Yeah, so if they're former hockey player, kind of like Pat McAfee's a former football player that has a podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
About football.
Yeah.
So, maybe they were in the NHL or maybe like the AAA version of hockey. I don't know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, they must be somewhat well respected because they had like hockey, you know, sponsors like at the beginning of the podcast for like gear.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
And the person that was in charge of that aspect of Frank Ocean's live show, the ice skating, I guess he was a guest on their podcast like a while ago. And on the podcast, he had told them that, you know, I'm starting to work on this new project and you guys need to fucking like be on it. So I think of like, because there were 120 ice skaters hired. And out of the hockey players, I think those 2 were probably the person in charge, like, I don't want to say leaders, but like the ones that he really wanted and like kind of could rely on for more of the major stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They told some cool stories about it, and they said like Frank Ocean, like in the preparation, like he was kind of a blast to, like he was very cool to work with and stuff, and he had a lot of cool visions. So apparently to the Coachella show, there was like a huge show and a huge production, 120 ice skaters, Olympic ice skaters, and they're showing up the day of. Everybody's showing up the day of, and Frank Ocean just canceled it last second. They're like, they don't know. They're like showing up to where they're supposed to show up, like at the hotel, and it keeps getting pushed back. Oh, we're gonna pick you up at noon. We're gonna pick you up at 1. We're gonna pick you up at 3. And then they just find out it's canceled. And apparently Frank Ocean wasn't even gonna, like, he almost wanted to not go on stage.
Yeah.
Like he was like in a bad mood.
Yeah, I could kind of like.
But
see that. Okay.
I'm sure the only thing that kept him, and then he canceled the ice thing, which is like a big part of the show, like completely. He said that they had even like rehearsed, like they had to learn songs. I think they were gonna sing Pretty Sweet. There was supposed to be a thing where they were ice skating, and then like
This honestly
there was
sounds pretty random but cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, that song wasn't even a set list, so I think there was like a switch around with what songs would be performed and stuff.
Wait, hold this thought. I'm gonna pee.
Yeah, they said they rehearsed Pretty Sweet, and that was a song that was not performed.
All right.
Which that would be weird because it's not really a song that he sings on. Like he's in the recording, but when we saw him live in 2017, that was like the opening, and it was like the track that just kind of played as he walked out.
Yeah, it was like his intro that he was like walking out to.
Yeah. So
but I could see why the ice skaters would be doing that. Like maybe it would be like the intro that he would walk out to, but they're like singing it, on an ice skating rink.
Yeah. And they said that they even like had to sing it, like the notes and stuff, which is interesting. It would have been interesting to see. What else did they talk about? They said, so there was kind of speculation on him injuring his ankle, sort of a thing. Because people just said that was, it was something that happened during the week, during the dress rehearsals, and that it was something that was fake. They said they didn't find out about any of that until in their part of the show. And they said, they had like friends come out and stuff because they're part of the headlined Coachella act. So, they got tickets for like their friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And like for themselves to kind of enjoy the weekend and, come watch me. And the whole thing got canceled. And they said it was just kind of like weird. They think, they said the festival, like promoters and whoever runs the festival are really pissed at Frank Ocean because that was why the set started so late and it ended up ending early because he canceled their original idea the day of that they had been preparing for a pretty long time. And so there's at least some tension. So they said like they wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't do weekend 2 or if a lot of the people like the ice skaters like don't show up for weekend 2 just because it got canceled on them the first day and they like rode all the way out here to the desert and like waited in like the hot sun for nothing to happen over like a diva moment
from the area. Yeah.
Yeah, he said they were like Olympic like ice skaters there. So like they take this thing like kind of seriously. A gig's a gig and stuff. I'm sure if you show up, you get paid, sort of a thing.
A gig is a gig, and you're getting paid for it. Yep.
Yeah, but they said so those people that were walking around on stage were some of the ice skaters. So of the 120 that were supposed to be a part of the show, 30 agreed. Those two guys said like fuck that. Because that
like, I'm not a fucking dancer.
Yeah. So during the set, there were just these people walking like around in circles. So apparently that was all
like did it seem like choreographed well, or did it seem like random? Like, why are these guys like running around?
It didn't seem choreographed the best because I remember at one point I think maybe 2 of them ran into each other. Yeah. Or there was some sort of awkward thing. But, I mean, they were also just walking. Like, it looked weird.
Yeah.
I'm usually not into that kind of stuff when there's, like, a billion people on stage with, like, a musical performer for, like, part of the show. I'm more interested, like, if the songs are being performed well and whatnot.
I will say, on the contrary, when we saw Kendrick on the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers tour, his dancers were amazing.
Yeah, they were great. That was a great show, great arena show.
Yeah,
people were posting
about choreography. I mean, they went fucking crazy. So did he, actually.
Oh yeah, no, people were posting that online. They're like, in the midst of all this Frank Ocean chaos, can we all appreciate Kendrick and on all the effort that went into the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers shows.
Yeah.
And
That
I
shit
was like,
a
dude,
play.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And we didn't have
That
to,
shit was great.
he literally came to us for the show. We didn't have to drive fucking anywhere.
He played. It was $50. Baby Keem opened up for him. He did the whole album choreographed as well as his biggest hits, and didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, dude, that would have been much better than
Class act.
Yeah. So the Frank Ocean set was fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then after looking at it, he sang 13 songs.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them were half songs, but yeah, he did.
Yeah, short versions of songs.
Yeah.
But like Crack Rock. Yeah, I probably would have been more disappointed if I didn't get to hear kind of specific songs that I would have wanted to hear. So Novocaine got to hear live, which is cool. He did not do that last time. Crack Rock was cool. That second song he did, that was new. Like, I enjoyed hearing that, most definitely.
Yeah.
He did a cool version of Solo. And when I was hearing White Ferrari at the time when I was there, I was like, okay, like this is the first time he's ever played it live. So you're getting sort of an exclusive type, like, for a fan, it was like, okay, this is cool. The great Self-Control, great, fantastic. So he was hitting these highs. So it was kind of, so he had been preparing for it. Like I said, it was like this big performance and show that he had been preparing for. So those things were very cool, but just like that weird 10 to I don't know how long like set in the middle of the show, and then Chanel, Nikes and Knights, it just playing and him not singing at all. Like, it was also weird and not what I paid for. Like, I just saw Billy Joel a few weeks ago. He's fucking 70 something, and he's a singer, piano player, very much similar to Frank Ocean in that sense, to where he went out and did his songs, and it was like one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and I mean we saw the Rolling Stones, and they're pushing 90, and like,
yeah,
I mean they just crushed every song, beginning to end.
Yeah, they're fucking amazing,
and just like the energy was amazing. Like, I don't know, man. I mean,
most of any rock band I would rather see than that shit.
Yeah, like
Metallica.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm fucking.
I've been,
Go on.
I want to say, like, I've been a Frank Ocean fan for like a long time, but like I think I'm a little bit like less. I've been like a little bit less into him like ever since like we saw him like in 2017. Like, I mean, it was amazing, and it was like definitely a high moment. But ever since then, like, I don't, just personally as a preference, like, I haven't been going back to his music very often. And so, like, to see all this like unfold it's just kind of like, I mean, like, I don't know. I just like don't like it. Like, I don't like the way that he like conducts business and like handles his like fan base. Like, it's very like unprofessional. But like, I do want to say, like, I totally understand, like, he did lose his brother, and like, everybody grieves differently, so like,
yeah, I have some stuff to say about that.
Yeah, like I'd never experienced something like that, so I could never know like what that feels like. I mean, it probably feels fucking horrible, whether it was like yesterday or like 3 years ago. But like, at the same time, like, like, your fans, they paid money, like, you're a business, and like they paid money to like see a service, and like, it's false advertisement if you don't deliver on that service. And like, as fans,
most definitely,
whether it's Frank Ocean or anybody else, like, as fans, there has to be some like accountability and like integrity with like artists, where it's like, if you're gonna go out there and like half-ass a performance, like, you don't deserve like my money, you know? Whether it's him or
Exactly.
anybody, like, or like it's like the main problem I've had with like rap shows in the past as well, is like if you go up there and just like mouth the lyrics to your song while it plays, you know, with a DJ like on a track, like you're not adding like value. Like you're not.
It's a shitty concert.
It's just a shit concert. Like, and so, you know, there has to be some accountability there. You show up, you're a headliner at Coachella. It's not like you're doing this shit out of charity. If you're doing this shit for free, like, okay, you know, you want to do it that way, like, understandable, you know, it's like an ode to your brother. Like, I totally understand. But you're getting paid a shit ton of money for this, like, and, you know, you're headlining, like, the biggest music festival, like, in the world. And it's supposed to be live streamed throughout the world for all of your fans. And you haven't performed in, like, almost, like, 6 years. And you're going to go up there and, like, half-ass it. Like, it's just, like, wild to me. Like, I can't even believe it.
It's, I do not have, like, he just must be, like, the biggest fucking diva.
Yeah.
Because he's canceled so many shows before.
Yeah, I've been canceled on him before too, you know. Luckily it got covered with like Kanye, which, like, you know, say what you want, like, it was, I mean, it wasn't the best performance, but like at the same time,
well, it's not just
it was
that.
like, okay, well, that was
it's
fun.
like in my situation.
Yeah.
I had just seen Kanye.
Oh yeah, I've never seen
it's like
him.
I don't want to pay a festival.
So I was like, okay, cool, like, you know, but at the same time, it was a massive bummer, and then we got to make up for it by seeing him. But like, to know he's still like doing it, it's like, fuck.
Well, that's like the thing I have a problem as far as the 2017 FYF is that, you know, it was kind of looked at as like a makeup show or whatever, but we had to pay again.
Right. Right. Like, we didn't
so
get a
he didn't make up shit.
There was no communication. And it's the same thing with Coachella.
Yeah.
No refund, no communication. It's just like,
I do that. That's where all my emails and phone calls have been going all day.
it's just
like, somebody fucking help me out.
It's just expected. You're supposed to deal with it. And I'm so like, if you buy a MacBook and you take it home and that shit barely works, or it works on half energy, like, it can't process any of the things that you bought it for.
Works, but only when it's plugged into power.
Yeah, like, you take it back and you get a refund. And at the same time, like, yes, art is not as transactional, but, you know, a festival, you're paying for it. So, yeah, it is kind of that transactional. So, at the same time, like, you know, I mean, it's a pretty low bar. Like, you don't have to come out there with a new album if you don't want to, but at least you have to put on, like, a decent performance.
Fucking sing.
Yeah, like, you have to, like,
you don't have to walk around.
Like, you just have to
could
do
have
your
sat
song.
there.
Like, it's just like
whatever the stupid ankle situation was.
Yeah,
and sing.
like, I'm just like, like, his antics are like crazy to me. Like, I understand he's like really talented artist, but like, it's just like super unprofessional. And like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And like, I haven't been going back to his music lately. It's good, but it's just like, I haven't been going back to it. And like, it's just hard for me to like listen to it, you know?
Oh, I'm not going to go back to it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty like over him. I might sell my blondes to like make up for the ticket price.
Yeah, that's one way to get your money back. Yeah.
Yeah, no, literally. I even thought about going next weekend just to fucking break the blonde like in front of him.
Just like
and,
hold
like,
it up to sign it to him, and then he like is about to sign it, and you're like, nah. You just like break it.
Like, hold it up. It might get a lot of attention from the people around me, maybe a camera, and then fucking snap it.
That's crazy.
Or like writing like FYF 2015
Yeah.
Coachella week, or like every other show he's
Hashtag
canceled, and like breaking it up
forget.
to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking selfish. He doesn't love his fans.
Yeah, it's selfish.
Fucking people try to make excuses for him. Like, oh, you know. People try to do that shit with Kanye, too, when he was starting to lack on performances.
Same deal.
Like, they would say, like, oh, like, he's doing, like, all this stuff. He has, like, he's making shoes. Well, don't fucking put your name on the bill. Like, a lot of people are spending money and, like, calling off of work early and to make the show, and then you just look at it as this thing that you fly into that you get this $1 million fucking check from. I think Coachella is at least I think it's $4 million a weekend for a headliner.
Holy shit.
So that I don't think he wanted to go on stage, but as far as like contractually, like he almost had to, unless he wanted to pay a lot of money to somebody, like over a lawsuit or something.
Yeah.
And that's what those guys were saying on that podcast. They said that, they had to be quiet about some stuff, but they said they'll have the person that was in charge on Monday. So I think everybody involved is fucking pissed.
Yeah. And
once like NDAs like are done, that they want to kind of vent about it,
right?
Because like it's such diva behavior, and he has a history of this kind of behavior. And yeah, I felt sorry for the fans who just like, at least I kind of got to see him, and I kind of sort of went in, I didn't expect him to do this, but I guess I'm just not surprised. And people, his brother died. Well, like my brother died within like I think 3 weeks before, and it's just, like, what am I not going to go to work tomorrow?
Right.
Like,
right.
Fucking retarded.
I mean, like, grief. Everybody handles grief differently, but at the same time, like, if you sign up to do a job and you don't communicate that, you can't do
$4
it.
$4 million job.
Right. Like, then that's on you, man. Like, that's just how I feel, and it's a shitty situation, but at the same time, like, as fans of any artist, you can't let people do these kinds of things to you. Like, you're a fan, you pay money, and the artist is receiving that money, and that in itself, there is a level of expectation and respect that you have to deliver on. And it has nothing to do with artistic integrity. You can go in any direction you want, but it has to do with like effort. Like, the money that you're getting paid for, you have to like put in like a decent amount of effort for. And like, I just don't see it. And like, it just leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. It's just like hard to enjoy like the art, with knowing that that's happening, and like knowing that like there's no accountability there, and like it sucks to see, and I feel bad for everybody involved that like was really excited for it, and
because this is like their big break to be a part of like a really great show, and based on like him canceling stuff the day of. Like, it puts, because people, like, it was on the news and stuff.
Right.
Like, about how bad that went. So now their name is, like, they don't get to have that, like, on their, it's like a bad thing,
Right. It's, like, notorious. And like, look at the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, Blink-182, they haven't been together since 2014. They announced the day before that they're going to do a surprise set. They do it in the daytime on, like, a side stage, right? And they just crush it. Like, and it's just, like... And everybody's into it, and they're having a great time with their fans, and they're about to go on this massive stadium tour that costs a lot of money, but people are expecting a level of quality that they're going to deliver on. And it's like, that's just professional. It's just like professional. This is your job. Yeah. Like,
it's been very hard being a
you
fan.
have a fucking dream job. Like, treat it like that, Or don't do it,
Yeah. Don't book stuff and then be like, I don't owe you guys anything.
Yeah.
It's like, we paid you money. That's like, it's like borderline like if I saw him in public, like I would almost be like just and like be like, hey, like you owe me money,
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Where's my money,
'Cause-
Frank?
Yeah, because like FYF 2015 was what, like maybe like $200. Coachella 2020, that he pushed, he didn't do the 2022 date. That's $450, and then this year was $600.
Yeah.
So you're like over $1,000 in the hole for Frank Ocean.
Yep. Not to mention the
It's like
people
worth being like, hey, what the fuck?
again, like not to mention the people that flew from other countries or from out of state and paid for a rental car and paid, for lodging and paid for
Mhm.
food and drinks, and this was like the highlight of their year, and to have it be like
Yeah.
crushed like that, by like a low effort performance. It just sucks. But like, I hope to end on a lighter note, like whatever Weekend 2 brings, whether it brings him or like a different artist, like I hope that like people feel that they get some value out of it and that like it's a good time, and like maybe this can be kind of a like a learning lesson for like artists, that like at the end of the day, like if you sign a paper and you do something like that, like there's a certain level of accountability that needs to be met, and it's not that high of a bar. It's not that high of a bar. You can go as high as you want with it, but at the end of the day, you have to at least like bring a quality performance to the fans that you took money from.
Yeah, it's like a dream slot that all sorts of artists, I'm sure, like would hope to get. So I'm sure a lot of them are looking in like confusion at like Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
If he does perform next weekend, if that's still like the case, I'm sure it will be like it's already being kind of said that they might do like the ice skating is like gonna come back.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let's see if all the people that were originally a part of it like return for it.
Right.
But even like if he does like a good show, I feel like people would like look at it as like a redemption. Like, oh, but the weekend one already happened.
Yes. It's not a
lot
redemption.
of those people like went home.
It's not
Yeah,
a redemption.
no, that shit was fucked. If people show up for weekend, we have friends. We know people that are going
Yeah.
to weekend too. So I hope they like get the good Frank Ocean set and whatever. But
Yeah.
like I honestly don't care anymore. Like I'm over him. I'll leave him in high school.
Yeah.
It's
about the memories you
I'm
made
not gonna
along
be.
the way.
I'm not gonna show any more. Oh hey, look at this song or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all in the past.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna bond with anyone over a Frank Ocean song ever again.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
just-
why. I've just been I've just kind of felt a little sus about him like ever since his like business practices with like releasing like jewelry and like clothes without really like an album and like zero communication and like just like releasing like a reissue of Blonde that's like expensive and exclusive, and not really like having any sort of communication, and like it almost just seems really transactional. It always felt very transactional to me, like ever since he released Blonde, like how his kind of like behavior has been, and it's just like I don't know. Say what you want about Tame
I feel
Impala,
similar.
like like the last album wasn't the greatest, but like he out there grinding, he always puts on a great show, and like he's super talented, and like you always have fun, and like I don't know. For me, as a concert goer and as a person who loves music, like I respect that a lot, and as an artist, it's what I strive for, so it's like all right.
Yeah, disappointing. I don't plan on. I don't think I'll ever pay for anything of him again.
Yeah.
Very transactional. His approach to everything comes off. I do not believe he loves his fans. I think he is a diva. I hope all our friends going weekend to get their money's worth and see a very cool show. If it's a cool show, you know, like I said before, I do not care.
Yeah. Oh, and I have a message to just music lovers in general and fans, whether it's a fan of Frank Ocean or a different person. Like, don't be afraid to speak your mind. Like, and don't be afraid to like hold these artists accountable. You know. And I'm not
Don't be afraid to throw Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm not talking about like
Wait. I'm not saying, in case that gets taken out of context, do not throw any Rotten Tomatoes at anyone.
Yeah, or beer
that
bottles.
That is entirely your decision.
Yeah. But you know, you're a fan, and if you're someone who gives them like money, you know, so especially if it's a substantial amount, like don't be afraid to like speak your mind and like, you know, have some respect for yourself and for, you know, what you're paying money for, like whether it's like a rock band or a rapper or Frank Ocean, like, you know, they're making money off this shit, you know, and they're performing a service, and like it has nothing to do with their art. Like they can go in any direction they want, you know, but like it has to do with just like the quality and like the respect of the dynamic. So yeah.
Yeah, he could quit, and it's none of my business for him to release any new music ever again. But like when you're charging for a concert, that is a, you know, you do owe me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so shitty. Like when I go see, you know, Paul McCartney or Billy Joel or Elton John, and they put on like a fucking crazy ass concert,
right?
Like
guys in their
fantastic.
fucking 70s, 80s. What the fuck? What the fuck happened?
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck is up with? It's one thing that like, as far as like music that big, I don't know. It just seems like there isn't like as much of it. But like the one that like we go to, he's a fucking like bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Ocean's a.
Yeah.
Like he's. I remember that shit with Chipotle happened, where they like gave him $250,000 like in advance, for a song, for like
Chipotle
they were doing a
did
commercial
to Frank
for.
Ocean? I don't even know what this is.
So this was the first thing that made me scratch my head. Okay, so this is 2013, 2014. This is the first thing that kind of made me scratch my head at him. So Chipotle, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt for the situation. But
okay.
Yeah, so I'm back in high school. They gave him $250,000 for a song. They were doing a commercial about like free range fucking farming or something, like non-factory farming. And it was almost, I think, made like a claymation sort of like commercial. And at the end, so apparently the dispute was they paid him and he never like delivered. Apparently over like at the end of the commercial thing, you know, Chipotle's logo showed up, and I don't know if he thought that this was just going to be like a regular thing against factory farming or a Chipotle advertisement, and he was upset about the Chipotle logo and had never turned in a song. So they started to sue him over it because they had already paid him.
Yeah. And
then one day online he posted a picture of like the check back to Chipotle and said something like, here's your fucking you know, something like weird, like, you know.
Yeah.
But I thought he came off kind of like dickish.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like
they paid you to do something, you didn't do it, like a lot of money.
Yeah.
If there was, I don't know what confusion you had about like what this was for or who it was for, you know, a corporation was paying you money to do something. And that was the first thing that made me scratch my head.
Yeah, and
second thing,
and I don't know the details of the Def Jam, you know, record thing where he released Endless and then released Blonde independent, but like it's like a Boy Who Cried Wolf situation where it's like if you look at it holistically, like it kind of paints it in a different light, these days, where it's like, I don't know the specifics of that deal, but like, it just seems like this repeated behavior of like taking the check and then like weaseling out of the contract,
Yeah. Like, yeah, I think I felt similar in a way, because the whole story, there's probably a lot, and especially because we're not part of it, so we've only kind of heard about what's been said about it by other people, like kind of secondhand.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, Channel Orange, Frank Ocean, he becomes like this kind of big artist, so that gives him some like leeway as far as with his label, what kind of deal he has, to where his next album, they'll fund it a certain amount, because he's gained popularity. So he was, I think, recording mainly like in London, I'm sure all around, but living in hotels, paid for by the label. And with his contract, I guess he only owed them an album. So he's like recording all this music on their dime, releases Endless, he's out of his deal, then releases Blonde under himself, and which was the real album. But yeah, that shit kind of I'm not super into like people, because especially in our day and age, record labels have been known to fuck people and take advantage of them. And I feel like he's old enough and like late enough into the game to kind of, even though like I'm not into like I don't like him or whatever, but to like not get himself into that sort of like a mess or deal that he would feel the need to get out of in such a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah, it just...
So he recorded basically he owed them one album, recorded 2 albums worth of material on their dime, released, the lesser of the album with them that got him out of his contract, and then released the actual album under himself.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seemed baller at the time, but like after, this kind of like repeated behavior, it's just kind of like a little sus. And like, I mean, I don't know the specifics, but it's just like, yeah, I mean.
Oh, he seems like Louisiana trash. Those guys that come up to you and like,
what did they say?
I bet I could tell you where you got your shoes.
Yeah, like, I like your shoes. Like, where are your shoes from? Like,
low
I
key,
could guess.
Wait. To anyone who's never been to New Orleans, ignore these guys.
Yeah,
100% ignore
they're
these
everywhere.
guys.
It's hella random. Like, you're just walking on the street, like on Bourbon Street, and then like some guy will walk up to you and like start talking about your shoes and like asking you questions.
He's like, I bet I could tell you where you got your shoes. And you're just like, I'll bet you $10.
Yeah.
And we were warned beforehand not to, get involved with this type. I think the first bartender we saw was like, if anybody asks you about your shoes, like fucking ignore them. But with it, yeah, he's like, I bet you I could tell you where you got your shoes, and you're like, no way.
Yeah.
And you bet him the $10 or whatever, and he says, you got your shoes on your feet. And he starts laughing.
It's just
and you're like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. So that's, Frank Ocean's from New Orleans. So that's him in a nutshell. He's this Louisiana trash huckster who doesn't like to fucking perform his shows because he's a fucking diva bitch ass.
Yeah. Basically.
I mean, it's kind of that. Money is at stake, and he is the problem of it.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if you want to be like this, then do it for free. It's a fucking free country, bro. Like, do all this shit for free. Like, nobody
should have got a fucking ticket to Skankfest.
Yeah.
Instead, tickets went on sale the same day I got the Coachella ticket.
I mean, just there's a reason why there's a term class act, right? He's a class act. She's a class act. I mean, it's like, these guys at the real top of their game, and gals, you know, they're fucking class acts. Like, you have to be a class act, you know? And I don't know. It's like consistency these days is seen as like mainstream, sometimes seen as boring. Like somebody like Kendrick, who's like consistently releasing music, like Dr. Dre, like, you know, but it's like at the same time, like, these guys are really out here like maintaining their reputation and like never wavering on their consistency and never wavering like on their effort, and like it kind of is just like a lesson to me, and like kind of just like, I don't know, something that I think about where it's like, you know, it's something that I respect more, you know, after seeing something like this. It's like I respect like the consistency of these artists, you know, whether I connect with every one of their albums or not. It's like cool to see. Or like Iron Maiden. Like Iron Maiden's like a great example. Like they've been going out there and kicking ass since like they started, you know, and it's just great. I love seeing that. I'll pay money like every time to see something like that, you know. So, but yeah,
yeah, and even them, if they want to explore like artistic, they're pretty famous for they'll do a tour where they're playing new shit, and it's kind of, you know, it's announced,
yeah,
and stuff. And then they'll play a tour doing old shit.
Yeah.
And it's advertised sort of. And so you kind of know like what to go to.
Yeah. And we have this baseline standards because we've always, you know, been in kind of that like rock and like metal space, you know? So it's like,
yeah,
they deliver a lot of times like on this kind of shit.
Yeah, people living out of their fucking vans,
yeah,
rolling up to a 150 person venue and putting on like the best show they could put on.
Yeah, and you know what's a perfect example of this, and something that could have went the way of Frank Ocean but didn't, is like System of a Down. Okay, like System of a Down.
Fuck yeah, I think somebody said that.
Yeah, because System of a Down was at the top of their game, and then they stopped releasing albums, but they communicated the whole entire time. They just said, you know what, like, hey, like, we haven't been in the right headspace, like, we can't agree, like, artistically, but we still love shows, we still love our fans, and, like, we'll always come out for you. And then they, like, release a couple songs for, like, Armenia, like, when a lot of, like, the Armenian crisis was happening, and then they, like, play shows. They play for 3 hours sometimes. I've seen them play for 3 hours, play every single one of their hits, and just bring it all on stage every time. And they understand that like they're performing a service, and like people are paying money and like love them, and like they always deliver. And like it's okay to not release albums. That's totally okay. Like I would rather them not release an album than release a shitty album that they're not happy about, you know? But like they communicated the whole time, you know, with their fans, and like told them what was up, and like nobody blames them for it or gets mad. And it's like the same shit here. It's like, dude, like, communicate with your fan base. Like, you're taking their money. Like, just communicate with them.
Yeah, it really, it doesn't take, like, anything. You know, Frank is known for being mysterious. But, like, when it comes to the point of, like, money, like, FYF 2015, he really should have said something.
Yeah, definitely. Preferably beforehand.
Golden Voice made the announcement a week before the performance.
Did they? I can't even remember. I just remember showing up, and then the fucking thing said Kanye instead of Frank. I was like, oh,
yeah, that shit was fucking crazy.
Like,
it was a week or less than a week before, but I remember a few people that were going to the show were with me, and it was bad.
Yeah.
You heard like, no,
what the fuck?
People were fucking pissed. That's the thing. It's one thing. The money's like one thing, and like the travel expenses, but another thing is the memories. Because like that time, like a lot of our friends went, and you know we were all going to see like one of our favorite, probably like our favorite artists while we were in high school, and then it just fucking shit the bed. And then for Coachella 2020. We had a pretty nice group going too, like a lot of like my friends,
yeah,
who all loved Frank Ocean, and then that shit shits the bed. And I was the last person of our friend group to be like, I'll still go.
Yeah.
Like, I still love Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And then he let me down. So then now I'm like totally on the opposite end of the spectrum. Just like, fuck this guy.
Well,
I have 3 blonde vinyls.
yeah.
And I'm ready to fucking break them all.
Well, I'll say this, I've been on the sidelines for this for a while because I've just been kind of like feeling kind of weird about him, like, and just like kind of not as attached to like R&B in general, but like just him. And so I've been kind of disassociating, but like it's nice to hear it from like a true fan's perspective, and also the fact that you were there. So it was nice to hear these stories and your takes.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird and awkward. But like I said, even the songs he performed, like, it's kind of like a mixed bag because I got to see songs that, like, I hadn't seen before. And he did different versions. And it was really good, to be honest. Like, those parts of the show. But, like,
the high
overall,
points I saw were dope. Like, there were some high points for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
Those can't be ignored.
Yeah. So, but then also like 3 years, the show he should have been 2022, and then the show got pushed back an extra year. Like, so this was it.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was like kind of just like this half-assed, no good excuse for it. Even your fucking stupid leg, you could have sat down and sang all the songs in the world.
I heard
Elton John and Billy Joel. They play fucking piano. They're sitting the whole goddamn time.
I heard a great fucking point about that. I think it was Fantano that said that.
That's the thing. They're all covering it. Fantano covered it. H3 covered it. Hassan covered it.
Oh yeah, it's huge news. Yeah, but
fucking crazy.
But like he brought up a great point.
KTLA 5.
Yeah, like fucking everybody. Fucking it's gonna be on fucking Fox News. But like. Fantano brought up a great point, dude. Dave Grohl fucking broke his leg, and he was sitting in a fucking throne, and finished the tour, and crushed it. I mean, it's really not an excuse. Like, you don't have to dance around.
I think he went back to the show he broke his foot at.
Yeah, I think he broke his foot and finished the set. I think
he was like, I'm gonna go get this fucking checked out, but like,
yeah, like
I'm not sure on that, but I mean, we saw him on that tour, separate shows, and they fucking gave it their all.
Yeah, it was
R.I.P. Taylor.
Yeah, oh my god, and Taylor Hawkins. I mean, talk about a class fucking act. I mean, he just crushes it every time. But yeah, I mean, we should probably wrap it up. So like, you have any like final thoughts? That you want to like say?
Final thoughts. Fuck Frank Ocean. Coachella. Shout out to Coachella.
Yeah.
Very well ran festival.
Yeah, I want to go, man.
I would definitely go back.
Feeling extra FOMO
Dude,
this year.
That was like, I was expecting to like experience a bitch of a day, but got in easy, got out easy.
Cool.
Yeah. Everything was pretty cool about it. All the stages were close together, so it's not like FYF where you're having to walk around the Coliseum or anything like that.
Yeah.
You could get to everything very fast. No lines for like short line. Sorry, no, not no lines, but like short line for like beer and stuff.
Dope.
It was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go next year.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna pause it now.
All right. Bye, everyone.
This will be cut, wait, I'll try to say an ending though.
Okay.
But yeah, Frank Ocean 2023. Fuck Frank Ocean.
Yeah. All my homies hate
I'm a
Frank
big
Ocean.
fan, but fuck that shit.
Okay.